Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. As you join in, if you want to introduce yourself within the chat with your name, your organization, and where you're coming from, we'll get started in just a minute. Hello, everyone joining. Welcome. If you want to introduce yourself within the chat with your name, your organization, where you're coming from, we're going to get started in just a minute. Awesome. Have so many people from across the country already. We have Boston, Atlanta, Michigan. Welcome, welcome. All right, I'm gonna get started because there's a lot to get through. And I'm really excited to talk about your communications plan for Giving Tuesday. So welcome to your Ultimate Communications Guide to Giving Tuesday 2025. My name is Lisa Galprin. I am the Marketing and Communications Manager here at Mighty Cause. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we begin. Throughout the webinar, I'll try my best to answer questions, and I'll be keeping track of the chat as well as the questions tool in your Zoom dashboard. That's the easiest way for me to quickly catch questions. But as I mentioned, I'll try to my best to keep track of the chat, and we'll have dedicated time at the end for any questions. This webinar is being recorded. We will send an email out with a copy of the slide deck as well as a copy of the recording of the webinar. And I should say also happy early Halloween. All right, if this is your first webinar with Mighty Cause, welcome. Just a little background about Mighty Cause. We are a free year-round nonprofit fundraising platform. We've been in the nonprofit space since 2006. I don't even know what anniversary this is of our Giving Tuesday event, but it's been quite a long time since we hosted our Giving Tuesday event. We're also one of the biggest technology providers for giving days across the country, such as North Texas Giving Day, Colorado, and Give Minnesota, just to name a few. But as I mentioned, we're also a year-round fundraising platform where we provide tools like peer-to-peer fundraising, integrations, donor management, and most of these tools you can utilize for your Giving Tuesday event, if not all. So a little bit before we jump into communications, I just want to talk about our Giving Tuesday event for a little bit and as well as why Giving Tuesday matters. If you're on this webinar, you probably recognize why this matters. It is the biggest fundraising day of the year, and it's a day dedicated to nonprofits like yourself. So we host our Giving Tuesday event every year. If you don't know yet, Giving Tuesday is on December 2nd. It is free to register for our Giving Tuesday event, and it only takes a couple minutes. By registering for our Giving Tuesday event, you'll get access to all of those tools that I listed previously for your organization to utilize for your Giving Tuesday fundraising, our live trainings and webinars, templates, checklists, fundraising resources, and you'll also be eligible for our prize pool. So if you register for Giving Tuesday on Mighty Cause, you'll be eligible for $20,000 in cash prizes that we're giving away this Giving Tuesday. And just to go back for a second, any donations you start collecting from November 18th will start counting towards that $20,000 cash prize pool. Some of the tools that I talked about that you will have access to: embeddable donation form, donor management, text to give, etc. So how to register quickly, you can go to givingtuesday.mightycause.com. Then you can click the register now button, and there are two steps to register, which is to fill out the registration form, which just takes a couple minutes. It's very quick and painless. And then it is to get added as an admin to your organization and complete your to-do list, which is really just adding a logo and a banner image, just the basics of filling out your page, just so you have some of that ready for your Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of today, which is communications. So for the agenda today, what we're going to be talking through is general communication basics, email marketing, social media content and planning, as well as how to boost your social media posts, social media tips and best practices. And then I also have a couple of examples from other nonprofits of some social media posts and emails throughout this webinar. All right, so let's just talk about communication basics. So, when we're talking about creating a communications plan, what we mean is just creating a roadmap for you to deliver your message to your network or your supporters, your audience. And when you think of a communications plan, there's a couple of key baskets that you want to think about and answer. So, one being, what is your objective? What do you want your audience to do? Why are you trying to get them to do it? When do you want your audience to do it? And then who is your audience? Who do you want to hear this message? What are the specific objectives for certain audiences? Because you may have multiple audiences and different messages that you're trying to share with your different audiences. And your audience can be your board of directors, your donors, your major donors, your volunteers, your staff. So you want to identify who those you want to appeal to outside in the within those key groups. And some of them might overlap as well. So what are the channels you're going to be focusing on? Is it your email and newsletter, your website, social media? Is it going to be, are you having a physical location? Do you need to communicate language in your physical event? And then your key messages and timing. So, what exactly are you doing for Giving Tuesday? Why should your audience care? And when are you sending that information out? So, if you've been to one of my webinars before, you know I love talking about goal setting because I always think it's the best place to start out for any project or campaign that you are planning. So you want to think about what exactly is your goal for Giving Tuesday as well as your communication plan. Is it to get boards engaged? Are you trying to increase dollars? Are you trying to gain more donor retention? You can have different goals for each communication that you're planning. And then define your communication specific goals, as I mentioned. So you can look at your metrics from last year, and I would actually recommend doing that. Take a look at how many emails you sent last year, how many social posts that you made last year, how many people actually opened those emails, how many people liked your social posts, so that you can gauge one, what is a realistic goal for you to set this year? But then so you can also start tracking after this year's Giving Tuesday event, what was successful, what was not, what worked, what didn't, and you can compare based off those metrics. And those some of those metrics, as I mentioned, to consider for email is open rate and click-through rate. And when talking about messaging for Giving Tuesday for nonprofits, I think what is helpful is to think about first your nonprofit from a broader scope. What is the message you want to get across in general about your nonprofit? What do you want your audience to know about your nonprofit in 2025? What is your mission? What is your vision? What is your work that you do? So I have just an example here of Lisa's food pantry key messages. So we have three key messages. We believe that people have a right to be free from hunger and that food is a human right. Communities have a responsibility to care for their own, and our food pantry is a way to care for people in our community. Natural disasters hit the most underserved people in our community hardest, and we are committed to helping them make it through. So that's our broader scope of our nonprofit messaging. And then we can drill that down into our Giving Tuesday messaging. What are we specifically trying to achieve and why? So in this example that I have here, I'm including also some facts and some statistics as well, but we are raising $10,000 so we can afford to expand our food pantry's physical space and feed even more people in our community. There's increased need for our services in the community, and we must grow to meet that need. We want to provide 100,000 meals by the end of the year, and this campaign will help us do that. And whenever you're looking at your talking points, you want to consider just standard, what is traditional storytelling, a classic arc of what is your challenge? What's the challenge that you're trying to solve for? What is your solution to that challenge? What's the impact of your solution? And what is the call to action? What are you asking people to do then? And as you saw in those examples, I think it's always helpful to include any specific facts or figures or statistics about either your organization or your cause. Um, you can also add important information about your campaign, such as your deadline for fundraising. If you have, if there's any other important information related to your campaign, such as a matching gift, and also your accomplishments as well and goals. So I have a quick challenge for you guys. I'm just going to put 1 minute on the clock, and I want you to consider answering this question in one or two sentences, but how would you just describe your organization to a child? And I want you to think about these questions. What does my nonprofit do? How would a donation affect my organization? And how can a donor support my organization? So if a child was asking you this, how would you answer? So I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock if you want to think about this and then add your answers to the chat. Yes, yes, Kevin, yes. How would you answer these questions to a child if they were asking you those things? All right, so I'm going to uh, continue, but just to read a few, please feel free to continue adding to the chat because I think it's helpful for everyone to see how everyone else answers. But just to um, mention a few, SBCSA supports the college dreams of high school graduates in San Bernardino. My nonprofit rescues orphan and injured wildlife, attempts to rehabilitate and eventually return them to the wild. And if that is not possible, we provide a permanent home to them in our sanctuary. Awesome. So as you see, I think it's helpful to help break it down to, as I recommend, like how you would answer to a child, because that's how most people are going to help best retain that information, especially with Giving Tuesday. December is one of the highest months we'll talk about with email marketing, that people are going to be receiving emails, people are going to be inundated with information. And so the more clear and concise you can be about your messaging, the better off you will be. So let's talk about email marketing. I pulled up some of these stats because I thought they were very interesting. This is from M&R Benchmarks, their 2025 report. I've provided a link here that you can access. But it kind of shared a little bit about the story of email marketing for nonprofits. So what they found in their 2025 report about 2024 was that in average for nonprofits, email list size increased by 3% in 2024, which was a slower growth rate, but it was an increase. However, what they found that email revenue declined by 11% on average, but still the online revenue for nonprofits from email was also 11%. Um, So they found email lists were increasing, but the revenue had declined. And they found that the average click-through rate, so when a user opens an email and actually clicks a link for fundraising messages, was actually unchanged. So that didn't change. A subscriber receiving an appeal was just as likely to click a link or a button. And once they clicked a link, they were actually likely to complete a donation. Then the average completion rate, so the conversion rate of them making a gift, was actually 12%. So, what does that mean when we have increasing emails but less donors, or increasing people willing to sign up for your newsletters and receiving your emails, and actually the same click-through rate? So, they're clicking on your links, but we're seeing lower revenue. So that can be a couple of different things. So that could be one is as more people are opening up their email on mobile devices, is your donation form and your website mobile optimized? It could also be the case where people are clicking on the link, but then they're choosing to make a donation in a different time and they end up not using that link. And so the attribution could be different. So there are many different ways to there could be a reason for this. But what you can take out of it is that you want to make sure that you're reviewing your donation process and making sure that you are communicating clearly how someone can donate, and as well that your website or your donation form is mobile optimized and easy for people to access. So one of those things is having a clear call to action in your communication. So not only just for email, but in your social media, in if you have a flyer, if you have an in-person event, a clear call to action. What are you asking people to do? So is it donate, make a recurring gift, give again if it's a donor that's given already and that you're asking for another donation? You want to make sure that it's clear and emphasized on your email communication. So you can add an image and just have it hyperlinked to the donation page that you want people to go on. If you're planning on using your website as a donation place, so if you're participating in our Giving Tuesday event, you can actually add a Mighty Cause Giving Tuesday embeddable form to your page. So it's super easy and simple. You can create your donation form on Mighty Cause, and then you copy that iframe code and just paste it onto the back end of your website. So I have a quick GIF of just me adding an embeddable form on a Wix site. So it's really easy and painless. So when you are as well thinking about your email communication, you also want to consider the communication that you're sending out to specific groups, because you may have some emails that are just going to go out to, your general list serve. But I would really heavily consider also sending out dedicated emails to some key segments within your organization. So one being last year Giving Tuesday donors, right? So sending out a message to them, hey, last year you supported our organization for Giving Tuesday. Because you supported us, we were able to do X, Y, and Z. This year, our goal is to do this because we want to, go even bigger, better this year and be able to do X, Y, and Z by the end of the year. Major donors, right? Communicating to them specifically about their impact for your nonprofit. And again, what you're looking to, your impact that you're looking to make, and that the solution you're providing. Recurring donors, if you're looking just for another one-time gift for them to make for your Giving Tuesday campaign. Unretained donors from last year that you have not been able to have donate since this year. This is a good time to specifically target those individuals and remind them again of the impact that their donation made last year. So I have a couple of examples of different email content that you can utilize just to get the ball running and for you to start brainstorming of what you can send out to your donors. So one is an impact story. So sharing a story of an individual or group your nonprofit has served to demonstrate that kind of work your organization does. Of course, you want to be ethical and make sure that you have their approval in sharing their message or any photos or images or videos that you're sharing. But you want to pick a story that really illustrates your work and shares and shows the story that you're trying to tell, those messages that we talked about just a couple minutes ago, that you want to share about your organization in 2025. And emotional connections are a great way to encourage or motivate donors to give. So you can utilize, as I talked about, videos, images, and yeah, tell a story that is an outlier of the type of work that your nonprofit does. All right, so head honcho email. So this can be an email from your executive director or board chair. So this is going to be someone that maybe in the from email, it's not going to be from Mighty Cause Foundation, but it's going to say it's from Lisa, marketing communications manager at Mighty Cause. This can be highly effective, especially, for example, a major donor or donors you want it to feel more personalized. And share again the landscape of your nonprofit this year to date if you maybe want to share more statistics about your organization. 2025 accomplishments. So having a dedicated email talking about everything that you've accomplished this year's to date with your statistics and your impact metrics. And you can outline what you've done with either, you can utilize just email marketing text or you can utilize an infographic to make it more visual as well. I think it's always also helpful to to frame it as because of you, especially for example, donors from last year or last Giving Tuesday, of framing it because of you, we were able to do X, Y, and Z. All right, your 2026 goals. So, what are your goals for next year? This can be a different email that you send out throughout your email campaign that you want donors to start getting excited and invest in your organization and everything you're trying to accomplish. Again, when you have that email about all you've accomplished, that's going to set you up for your goals because you've proven that you've been able to, with um, your donors giving, that you've been able to accomplish work and even build further. So you can outline your goals that are going to resonate with your donors. Maybe that's starting a new program, offering a new service, building out something, increasing your services as mentioned. Um, and this is a great way for also supporters to start buying in on any year-end communication that you're going to have. So December 31st, any of that communication that you want to share about 2026, this is a really great way to start sprinkling that in, and it's going to be a great segue. All right, countdown email. So only one day left for Giving Tuesday to donate. Help us reach our goal before midnight. Time is running out. Of course, you want to utilize these type of urgent emails judiciously because every email cannot be urgent. But you want to remind supporters, especially, I would definitely have one plan to be sent out at some point during Giving Tuesday, letting them know that the end of Giving Tuesday is coming up within a couple hours, for an example, and they could make a donation. I think this is also really impactful if you have a matching gift, which I have at the end. That's a really great way to drive urgency and have people motivated to give. And then a donor retention email, as I mentioned before, of having a dedicated email to those donors that haven't donated this past year. Give again, your impact made a difference, double your impact, etc. So we have a couple email templates that you can utilize. This can be found in our Mighty Cause toolkit, but just an example of, I have one here that I could read out. Last year, your generosity helped us insert your specific impact example. So I'll say provide meals to 500 families. Your gift truly made a difference and we can't thank you enough. But our work isn't finished. This Giving Tuesday, we need you by our side again to ensure that no family goes hungry this year. Our goal is to raise $10,000 in order to double the number of families we serve. Will you give again and make an even bigger impact this year? Visit our fundraising page to make a difference, and then a link to your fundraising page. This was an example from Amity Aid that I thought was a really great example of a Giving Tuesday communication. So they wrote, "Today is the big day and we need your help. While many of us shop for toys and tech gadgets, there are many Rhode Islanders from all walks of life with basic necessities, including hygiene products, on the top of the wish list. And as you already know, hygiene is essential, not optional. We need toiletry items like soap, deodorant, toothbrushes on a daily basis. Can you imagine a week without these basics? Yet they are not covered by any government assistance programs. Lisa, will you help us raise $4,000 to bring comfort, release, and dignity to Rhode Islanders in need? Just $25 is enough to buy 25 bottles of shampoo. Your gift today will help families and individuals this winter. Yes, I can help my fellow Rhode Islander," is the call to action button. I think this is a really great example of a well composed messaging in terms of Giving Tuesday. They talk about what the problem is, what the solution that they are providing, the impact that that solution can provide, as well as with stats. We're raising $4,000. And for $25, it is enough to buy 25 bottles of shampoo for families and individuals this winter. And then a clear call to action is, yes, I can help my fellow Rhode Islander. And I love that they framed it as helping their community, helping someone's neighbor, someone's, a friend of a family or friend by stating, help a fellow Rhode Islander. So I've just shared, this is an example of an email schedule that you can follow. Again, this is just an example. You can follow this or create your own email schedule. But so November 18th, you're going to want to make sure that you send out an email. That's the start of early giving on Mighty Cause. And so that's going to be a really great time to send out an email to your donors announcing that. Have an email 1 week before Giving Tuesday, 1 day before Giving Tuesday, on Giving Tuesday, and then the next day, you definitely want to make sure that you're including a thank you email and as well as a breakdown of what you've been able to accomplish for your Giving Tuesday campaign. And maybe a segue into your year-end fundraising. Maybe you're continuing your fundraising efforts until the 31st. Something that we have available on the platform is a MailChimp integration, a direct integration. So if you utilize MailChimp, you can actually set that up on the platform. And so that any donors you receive through Mighty Cause are going to be automatically sent over to your MailChimp account and added to any audience you have in your MailChimp account. If you utilize a different email marketing tool, we do have an integration with Zapier. So Zapier has over 3,000 apps that you can create integrations with. You can check their site out, and I can type out their name here. And you can see if your email marketing system is available there. And if so, you can actually set up an integration where all of your Mighty Cause donations get automatically synced to your email marketing lists. Okay, I'm going to pause for questions before we get, into social media. Yes, so these slides will be available in a follow-up email. We'll send that sometime tomorrow, and a link to this recording as well as the slide deck are going to be available. This is our first Giving Tuesday campaign. Do you have any case studies on rolling out a first-time campaign? Unfortunately, don't have any case studies. But if this is your first-time campaign, please reach out to me afterwards. I love to hear how it went. And yeah, and see how your first campaign was. We use Mighty Cause as our everyday fundraising platform. I'm starting a monthly donor campaign, and I ask support. Okay, if it's a support question, I can get to, we can chat then, or I can directly message you about that. How do we avoid fatiguing our audience? We've historically seen spikes in unsubscribes and dropping open rates with our audience when we send multiple emails in a short time period. Yeah, so I think in that same M&R benchmarks report, They found that in December, that was the highest time that you will find unsubscribed emails. And I think that's fine. I think that's, to a certain degree, you're kind of weeding out people that are no longer interested in your organization, your communication. Um, I think as well, this time period, I think people typically are accustomed to receiving a higher volume of email communication. But I think the most important thing is not necessarily the quantity, but the quality of communication that you're sending out. But what's helpful with being more communicative during a campaign is that, a lot of times people will open up an email, including myself, right? You get an email to do something and you're like, oh, I'll do it later or I'll think about it, etc. And you kind of have to be reminded a couple of times, and whether that's either a reminder on social media or another follow-up email, to make that gift and make that donation with a different talking point. So I think I don't think that's abnormal that you will find unsubscribe rates during this time period. Okay. Did I miss anything else about emails? Okay. All right. Social media content and planning. So, as I talked in the beginning, Giving Tuesday is the biggest fundraising event in the year. And it's a day that's built also for social media. Giving Tuesday has a hashtag in its name as well, hashtag Giving Tuesday. So you definitely want to utilize social media to communicate and engage with your donor base for your Giving Tuesday event. Regardless, maybe if this is your first time campaign, this is a great way to start building your social platform. Or if this is your sixth or 10th, 20th Giving Tuesday campaign, this is a great way to re-engage with your supporters. And content can refer to a different way, different communication styles. So that could be video, images, infographics, GIFs, a live stream, giveaway, blog posts, memes on social media. But what you want to think about are a couple of key points. So, entertainment. So, your followers, your content can provide a form of entertainment that will help them stick around. And I have a couple of examples of what I mean by that. Attention. Is it something that will grab someone's attention, right? I think animal organizations, sometimes I'm like, you guys got it easier because you can put a cute animal on your content and people always want to see cute animals. It's a great way to engage people. Um, are you educating people about your cause or your mission and about the work that you do? Is it creating a conversation? Is it creating an opportunity to interact with your users or your audience? Is it something that will have someone maybe share your post on Instagram with a friend or family to make a gift? So as I mentioned in the beginning, in terms of social media, I do think it's helpful to look at where you're starting at. Again, just to gauge after your campaign if it was successful, if your users are engaging you on Instagram more than they are on Facebook, or are they more engaged on Facebook than they are on Instagram? And you want to think about also, what might be your goal? Is your goal just sharing your messaging, or do you want to actually gain followers or have people commenting, etc.? So, for social media planning, I think the key elements is first deciding on your theme and your message. And that goes to, in the beginning, what we talked about, what is your Giving Tuesday message? And have your kind of social media goals and metrics you want to measure your success by. Creating a content calendar, so building a timeline and creating a posting schedule. And we could talk about a tool that you can utilize in order to do that. You can utilize spreadsheets, or there's also different content management tools, and schedule that as much as you can ahead of time so you're not worrying about that on Giving Tuesday. And as well as establishing your process and building your assets. If there's someone else on your team that can help you out on social media, that's great. Also consider looking into your network. There was an organization I volunteered for, and I found them through volunteermatch.org. I believe that's the site, because I wanted to help out other organizations with any of their social media or marketing. So post on volunteermatch.org, post on your social media, or even reach out to your local high school or college, to see if there is someone who's also they're interested in getting into social media and marketing. This could be an opportunity for them to volunteer their efforts, and help create content or post for your organization. So, we talked a little bit about the type of content that you can consider: a campaign video, social media, images and graphics, something with a Giving Tuesday themed logo, photos that are related to your organization, and infographics with stats and figures. And the top social media platforms you're going to consider are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and TikTok. So one thing I always emphasize as well is stick to what you know. There's a lot that you will have to manage outside with your Giving Tuesday campaign. And so you want to think about, you don't need to reinvent the wheel with social media. Stick to platforms that you've used before and you've seen success with. You want to work smarter, not harder. So if your users are not on TikTok, don't worry about TikTok. Just worry about Facebook if that's the only place that you've seen them interact as in. But of course, if you want to experiment, definitely utilize this time to do so if that's something that you want to play around and see how well that does. Um, And you also, when thinking about social media planning, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be anything that's expensive or crazy. It can actually be free and easy to do so using your existing images and videos. So looking through just any images anyone has maybe tagged your organization in on Facebook or Instagram, or a volunteer has created, asking them to share any images anyone on your team has made if you guys do in-person events. Utilizing free tools like Canva is great. Canva is free for nonprofits. Um, and you don't need any professional equipment to do that. You really just need a phone, if you're looking to generate content now. So I also wanted to talk about kind of the social media algorithm and putting money into boosting social media posts. So with social media, you want to consider your key performance indicator, so your KPI. So when it comes to measuring and proving your social media success, that's when these key performance indicators, they're measurable metrics to see if any of your social media is having a return, an ROI, a return for your nonprofit. So your reach. So how many people are viewing your content? Not all of your followers are going to see your content. So how many people are you actually reaching? Um, and Facebook will tell you, should tell you your reach. And these are all measured by impressions. Your engagement are going to be your likes, comments, clicks, and shares, and conversions are going to be the number of people who actually did the desired action on a post, like clicking a link and donating. Um, so on social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram, and TikTok as well, LinkedIn, all of them, they're designed to prioritize content that keeps users engaged. They want people on their platform as much as possible. And so they are looking at people's preferences and their behavior. What do they like? What do they share, etc. So just because you post something doesn't necessarily mean that all of your followers will see your social media post. So what does the algorithm look for? It looks for um, It looks for posts that will prioritize engagement. So will it create shares, comments? Is it generating comments, shares, likes? Are users more likely to see content from accounts that you've interacted with before? They're going to also prioritize video, as well as any interactive tools like live stream or polls. And relevancy, how relevant is your content to target audiences? So are you using something that's trending, hashtags, a certain sound? And again, I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. So how can you hack the algorithm? So one, you can encourage engagement early. So ask for your staff, or your friends or family to like, share, comment on your posts so that more people can see it. If you're working with any companies or other organizations, you can also create collaborative posts. That's a really great way to also increase your reach. You can leverage video and stories and reels, especially since Instagram and Facebook and TikTok are prioritizing those. And utilizing hashtags like hashtag GivingTuesday, and as I mentioned, tagging any partners or sponsors. So, can you outsmart the algorithm? There are ways that you can ascend. The way the algorithm works essentially means that feeds are curated specifically for each user. So there's no way to get around it. You have to work with it, or you can do some of those hacks that I mentioned. But the only way to really circumvent the algorithm is paying to advertise on those platforms. Um, so I'm just gonna skip through because I know we're coming to time, but um, I want to talk about specifically boosting posts and the breakdown of that and whether to invest some money in that or not. So, boosting a post, I'm not talking about Meta Ad Manager, but really just boosting individual social posts. It's the easiest way for you to pay for more visibility on the content that you've posted. And so, this is just a simpler way than creating a whole ad campaign. Um, so I would recommend to test it out if you have the budget and you're able to do so, and you don't have to spend a huge amount. You can spend, if it's possible to spend $100 on a post or a couple of different posts, that would be, I think, a great way. You can even invest just $20 a day for 3 days. That's $60. I think that's a great way to experiment and see those results. Um, and let me, yes, okay, I have the breakdown here. Um, all right, so how to boost a post on social media. So it's actually really easy to do so if you want to experiment with it. So what you would do is I have an example of a social post that we posted about this webinar. So I would just click boost post. And you want to boost a post on a post that you think would do well. So, a Giving Tuesday fundraising announcement, a powerful story or impact photo, a short video. Um, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see you will get certain options that they will ask, what are you trying to do with your ad? So, what do you want people to do when they see your ad? Do you want them to visit your website, message you, etc.? You're going to want to say visit your website, and then you're going to get an option to enter the URL that you want people to go to. And then you'll be asked what call to action you want, and you'll just select learn more. Otherwise, it's like shop now or etc. Learn more is going to be the most relevant one. One thing to remember with any boosted post is that there are specific rules on social issues, and you cannot do boosted posts on any social posts regarding social issues, elections, and politics. So that if your ad is purely fundraise for a general mission and it's not about influencing policy or elections, then you should be fine. If there's any issue with your post, Facebook will let you know. As I mentioned, I volunteered for an organization. It was an all-run volunteer organization where we created storytelling events for immigrants in our community that they could share their gifts, their talents, their stories, etc. And so, because we were dealing with immigration, sometimes our post would be flagged, and all it's going to do is just stop your post from being boosted. And you can revise, try to switch some of your copy, your image, and try to boost it again. Nothing bad will happen if you do get flagged. That your language is goes against their policy. So just something to be careful of because sometimes it blurs the line, especially if your organization deals with, as I mentioned, our organization was just storytelling events for immigrants. Okay. And then the next question they'll ask is define your audience for your post. So you're going to see two options. So a suggested audience. So just meta suggested audience for your organization. I think this is the easiest setup if you haven't done this before, especially because you don't have to guess certain parts of your audience. It's going to give a broad reach, but then Meta is also learning about the people that are similar to your causes or they're most likely to interact. Um, and I think it's great for a small nonprofit, with just a few hundred followers. The algorithm is going to need to learn of who responds to your content. But you can also create your own audience. When you create your own audience, you're essentially saying, you can choose the location that you want people to see it, people from where, the age range of the people, any interests, so charity, education, volunteering, community service, whatever you want those interests to be, as well as gender. Um, so as I mentioned, I recommend just doing suggested audience, and Meta can start learning just about who your audience is. And then you would set a budget and a time span. So I only want to invest $20 and run this for 3 days. Okay. So social media tips and best practices for each social platform. Um, we talked about Giving Tuesday hashtag. So something that I think is also really helpful if you're utilizing Mighty Cause or givingtuesday.mightycause.com is you have the ability to add a referral code on your URL. And so that makes tracking easy in your donation reporting. So all you would do is add, if I had my Giving Tuesday link, so givingtuesday.mightycause.com/organization/Mighty Foundation. After that, I would add question mark referral underscore code equals, and then whatever code I want that to be. So let's say I want to track donations that I've received from Facebook on my donation reports. Then I would add equals Facebook, and then that's the URL I am sharing on Facebook. And so any donations that you receive through that link on your Mighty Cause donations report, you're going to see that referral code and that those donations came from Facebook. So this is another way just to track your conversions if you would like to do it that way. One other thing to be conscious of is your social share settings on Mighty Cause. It might be outdated from last year, so you want to go into the settings section of your organization dashboard, go to general settings. This social share setting is if you ever like shared a link with someone in a message or on Facebook, and then there's an image and some text that automatically appears when you add the link. That's what this refers to. It may have some outdated language if this is your second year or your returning organization. So just check back and make sure that is updated. Some free social media tools to utilize. So Canva, it's free for nonprofits and they have so many different templates, as well as we do have a toolkit where we have a lot of different templates and graphics that you can utilize. Linktree is a great free tool to utilize that allows you to create a directory of bookmarked links. So especially for your Instagram, if you want to link to sign up for your newsletter as well as your Mighty Cause Giving Tuesday fundraising page. You can add all of those links in one place. Unsplash, royalty-free stock photos, CapCut for easy video editing, for like reels or stories, and Buffer is a free social media scheduler and planner. All right, I'm gonna run through these because I have a couple examples I want to make sure I get through and as well as your questions. Um, so Facebook, and Instagram, I think I talked a little about Canva templates and Linktree using stories. Carousel posts for Instagram are great with some educational or informational content. Um, you can yeah, you can convert your Instagram account to a business account, and connect your organization's Facebook page if you want to make content planning a little bit easier. With Instagram and Facebook, you can also kind of post together live streams as well as stories. So it makes your life a little bit easier, as I mentioned, with live streams. We've seen with in-person events, people do a kickoff for their event on a live stream with like you could do a Q&A or your fundraising event. Um, with Twitter, I think if you're interested in engaging there, you can create quote tweets. So you can, if there's a post that's getting a lot of engagement, you can quote tweet that with your information on there. That's a great way to get engagement. Um, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I definitely recommend creating one and use your board of directors and staff to spread the word about your organization there. Um, and TikTok, it can be if your users aren't there, and I don't think you have to worry about it, but it could be something that you can experiment this year if you haven't done before. And you don't have to kind of stress about leveraging this. So let's get to examples because I want to make sure we have time to go through the examples. So this is an example of a great social an Instagram post. I think that it has clear and concise language. So it says, last chance, make 2 times the impact for oceans this Giving Tuesday. Time is running out to participate in the biggest giving day, biggest day to give back to the oceans. Donate to Oceana today and take a stand against harmful plastic pollution, dirty offshore drilling. All gifts before midnight will be matched by our partner. So the image you see in the background kind of gets across. They work with oceans. It has clear and concise language. Last chance. So that urgency, make 2 times the impact. They had a matching gift and they're getting this across, and it's for Giving Tuesday. And the caption says, time is running out. Um, so this was an animal rescue. They created a carousel post on Instagram, showcasing different animals through that went through their organization. And it shares about, hello, friend. Did you know it's Giving Tuesday? This year, your donations will go towards making the ranch more ADA accessible. This includes adding turf to additional areas, ramps where needed, and replacing gates, ways to donate, other ways to help. So very clear about what they're trying to accomplish. It's for Giving Tuesday. Here are ways to donate. Here are other ways to help. So this is a testimonial type of social post that you can create, where you could highlight an alumni, someone from your program that has gone through it, and share a quote about them. Right, so this is a video post.
Hey, my name's Ariel, and I know we don't know each other, but I need your help. So once upon a time, I had a sister named Muriel who was diagnosed with osteosarcoma or bone cancer. Unfortunately, Muriel found out that the cancer was terminal, but instead of moping around, she wanted to do one last good deed before she died. So during her last Christmas, Muriel asked friends and family to donate toys to her, and she stuffed some stockings and sent it to Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital. She wanted to do this because she knew all too well how much it sucked to be a kid in the hospital during the holidays, and she wanted to give these kids a reason to smile one last time. Sadly, we lost her that following February in 2014. In her memory, my family created a charity known as Muriel's Miracle Holiday Stockings. Every December, we get together with a bunch of volunteers and we donate all kinds of good things to local children's hospitals. But due to COVID, we haven't really had many volunteers in the last year or so. That's where you come in. So there's a couple ways you can help us, whether you have money or not. If you'd like to donate stocking stuffers, you can check out our wish list on Amazon. It's under Muriel's Miracle. Or you could fill stockings and send it to your local children's hospital in Muriel's honor. You could also send a monetary donation. Or you could simply use your word of mouth and boost this video. Duet this, comment, like, anything helps. We donate to kids of all kinds, 0 to 18, boy, girl, neutral, you name it. Links to the Amazon wish list and the official Facebook page can be found in my link tree. And if you're able to help us this season, I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for helping me keep my sister's spirit alive.
So short, it's under a minute and 30 seconds. Shares her story, shares a clear call to action, and that it's for Giving Tuesday. All right, this is for Valencia College Prep.
Miss Cone, Miss Cone, Miss Cone, Miss Cone. We really want a dress down week.
Do you think Miss Cole should give you a 1 week dress down?
And I really want courtside seats to the Knicks home opener next Wednesday.
I don't know about that, but what can we do for the dress down, please?
Giving Tuesday's coming up, and we're trying to raise $20,000.
20,000.
That $20,000 is going to help us pay for practice space for our basketball team, our soccer team, our volleyball team, etc., and help get you transportation to your games.
We definitely need that practice space, but that's what we gotta do. 20 bands.
Not quite. Y'all need to get at least 5,000 likes on this TikTok, at least 500 comments, and if you can get a New York Knick to comment or repost to this, y'all can get your dress down week. Josh Hart, I love you. The link is in our bio.
Come on, it's just 20K. ECP, please, let's get that dress down week. So let's like, comment, and repost. Hey, JB, I love you, please.
All right. I know many of us were not going to get 5,000 likes like they might, or have a New York Knick comment post, but I love the creativity and that they also showcase their school. Again, clear call to action and clear in their caption. You can see we're kicking off Giving Tuesday with a big goal of raising $20,000 to support our athletic team's practice space and transportation needs. This I thought was just a fun video. Again, if you have someone young that can help you out with social media.
Donna and I spend a day treating ourselves. What do we treat ourselves to? Clothes. Treat yourself. Fragrances. Treat yourself. Massages. Treat yourself. Mimosas. Treat yourself. Fine leather goods. Treat yourself. It's the best day of the year. The best day of the year.
Tuesday, November 28th is Giving Tuesday, and we were wondering, why do you give on Giving Tuesday? We give to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina because they serve 34 counties throughout Central and Eastern North Carolina, providing food for approximately 700 partner agencies. They give food to our neighbors directly. They have so many programs that help our neighbors get the nutritious food that they need, while also providing opportunities for them to thrive. And the Food Bank has been doing this work for over 40 years. You know, food builds community, and I want to help make sure no one goes hungry. And the Food Bank does a really great job of doing that. And today only, your gift could be triple matched. So please, make a gift on.
I'm just to share this last one, then we'll get to questions.
The Tuesday after Thanksgiving is called Give Tuesday, and it's a global day of doing your favorite nonprofit organization, doing beer and going to walk around the world. The Knockout Down Syndrome Society will and every day to create a better world for individuals with Down syndrome like us and their families. We hope you consider a donation of any amount. Tag a friend who you think needs a Giving Tuesday reminder.
Okay, I know we don't have that much time, but I will send a link so you guys can catch the rest of the videos. But as I mentioned with resources, we have a whole toolkit, a whole marketing communications toolkit in particular with social media guide, graphics, best practices, just some save the dates. So of course, if you haven't registered for Giving Tuesday, you want to make sure you do that. Our next webinar will be next week, and it's going to be last minute tips for Giving Tuesday. So if you haven't planned your campaign yet, you can join us and we'll go through some last minute things that you can do to get prepared. Early giving opens and then Giving Tuesday. So next steps, as I mentioned, I'll send out a follow-up email with a recording in the slide deck. If you want to learn more in general about Mighty Cause, there's going to be a question in your Zoom survey that you can answer and let us know if you want to learn more. Register for Giving Tuesday and sign up for our next newsletter. All right, so I'm going to get to questions. I'm going to stick around for a couple of minutes. If those of you who need to go, feel free to go. I know we're now going over, but I want to make sure I can answer some of your questions for a couple minutes. Um, all right, so I'm going to start with the questions here. Is the list of Giving Tuesday rewards available? Yeah. It should be announced tomorrow. So we're gonna send out the breakdown probably sometime tomorrow. Or Monday. We'll see. I think it should be tomorrow. I am How do I get the link to my org Mighty Cost site? So if you are an admin to your organization, if you get to your org dashboard at the top, you'll see givingtuesday.mightycause.com/organization/Mighty Foundation as an example, and that will be your link that you will send. Um, just to clarify, the question, you could start using Giving Tuesday page on November 18th, and support told me that we can start using it now. Okay, yes. So maybe there was some confusion. So you can start setting up your page and you can technically start collecting donations now if you wanted to. It's just starting November 18th. Any donations you receive from the 18th to Giving Tuesday will count towards the Giving Tuesday prize pool. So you can start using your page now. Just know that any donations made between those dates, that's when it'll be eligible for the prize pool. We don't use Twitter or X. Are there any other options for social? Yes. I realized I should have also added information about Blue Sky. I think Blue Sky is also a really great platform as well that you can join, and I think that's it's just an alternative to Twitter or X. For social posts, should you link straight to your web donation page or peer-to-peer campaign for Giving Tuesday? I would link to wherever you want people to directly donate. So if you are primarily asking for donations for it to go to your peer-to-peer campaign, link there. You don't want people to, if you're linking to your website and then on your website donation page, you have a link to your peer-to-peer campaigns, just send them directly to the place that they want to go. The less places they click around, the more likely they're going to stick with donating. Um, okay. How quickly does your support get back to you? So we typically support should get back to you within 24, 40 hours. It is this, unfortunately, with fall, we do get a lot more questions, so they will try their best to get back to you as soon as possible. I think the great thing about Mighty Cause is we have full human support, so they are chugging away and trying to get to all of your questions as soon as possible. Okay. I'm going through the chat now. Is Canva fee based? If you are a 501c3 public charity, you can sign up for a free Canva account. Yes, yeah, Crystal. Canva does have Giving Tuesday specific templates and logos, and that makes it so easy. Our toolkit as well links to the Giving Tuesday Canva, and we also have some templates that you can utilize for Giving Tuesday that you can just literally plug in your logo and put in your colors, and you're good to go. Can you buy potential donor email lists? I am not familiar with that in terms of purchasing donor email lists. If anyone else in the chat has experience in that, feel free to add. In terms of donor email lists, I'm not familiar with. Can a QR code be made to the specific campaign page? So you can, you just cannot do that through, we don't have a tool on Mighty Cause that populates a QR code. So you can utilize, there's a lot of different QR code generating websites. You can just utilize one of those sites, and a lot of them are free up until a certain amount of clicks. So that's just something you have to be mindful for. I think they have a limit of how many times people can scan the QR code. But then you would just add the link that you want people to go to on the QR code. But there's a lot that are available. Okay, and Canva can make QR codes. Okay, yeah, that's you can utilize then Canva. I didn't know that. That's great. Um, oh, I'm sorry, Chris, about your experience with boosted posts. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not sure of what happened regarding then your with those social posts. If you had a bad experience with boosting your social posts, you may want to consider, I didn't get into it, but Meta Ad Manager. It gets a little bit more complicated. Um, but it's actually pretty easy once you know what you're doing. I guess that's with everything. But you could consider going there because then you can even get more targeted about the type of people that will see your ad. Um, like you can build like with the I should um clarify with the boosted posts you have with the ad manager, what you can do is actually download a list of people that like your donor list and share that, and it will show them the type of people that you want your ad to be targeted to. So that's where it's like it's more powerful than just boosting a post. Again, it's a little bit more complicated to utilize. It's not as simple, but I would suggest then maybe go to Meta Ad Manager and test that out. Um, okay. Did I miss? Trying to see if I missed any other questions. I think I got them all. If I'm missing a question, please feel free to repost it. Um, and I will try my best to answer it before we leave here. Um, okay. I don't see any other new questions. Um, Okay. Oh, I see, Irma, your question. You're getting through the line, but I'm setting up the landing page, but it goes black. I'm still getting through the checklist. Reach out to our support team. You shouldn't be getting anything that's black. I would also just double check your like on a different browser to see maybe it's browser related. But you shouldn't receive a page that's going black. Yes, you will receive, I will send a follow-up email. It's going to have a copy of the recording and the slide deck. So we'll send it out tomorrow. I'll probably send it out sometime tomorrow morning. All right. All right. I hope this was helpful. If you are posting on social media for Giving Tuesday, please hashtag or at Mighty Cause. More so, I like to see what everyone ends up doing. I think sometimes I like to use you guys for as examples, as you see here. So please add us, and I love seeing everyone's work that you guys all do. I hope this was helpful. I hope everyone has a successful Giving Tuesday. Join our next webinar. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.